Back when Nintendo showed off Ever Oasis during Treehouse Live last year, I was like, "Oh, this looks kind of interesting. I could get into this." Then I went to a hands-on event and got some time with it, and I really enjoyed what I played. It's always hard to get hands-on at an event like that because you don't really get to hear the music or the sound effects of the game. Plus, you're being plopped down into a random part where other things have happened and you don't know what they are, and you know there's mechanics that haven't been fully explained to you and stuff like that. So it's hard to judge in that environment. But I did like what I played. It made me even more eager to check out the final game, which is what I've been doing for the last couple weeks. And I've been so eager to talk to you about this game because I really, really enjoy it, and I really hope it doesn't get ignored at retail. I know it's a busy time. I know a lot of people are focused on Switch right now, but Ever Oasis is without a doubt worth your time. There's so much to love here. There's so much to do. It's a really engaging, high-quality package, and I'm dying to tell you about it, so that's what I'm going to do. Right before I get into it, I want to say I apologize for using footage from trailers and other gameplay stuff. I don't have a 3DS capture unit. Hopefully this footage does the trick, and it goes well with what I have to say. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Ever Oasis. Right in the beginning of Ever Oasis, you find out you're this little guy, and he's living in a town, and then the town gets destroyed by this thing that destroys oases. Is that the plural? Oases? And you get sent off on your own. Well, you get sent off by your brother, really, to make your own oasis, and you find like a water spirit. And she teams up with you to create an oasis. Now, all this happens in the intro cutscene. I'm not spoiling anything for you. Like, that's literally the beginning of the game. You learn a couple of the mechanics in the first 5 minutes, and then story hits you, and that's what happens. So it's all about, A, finding the thing that destroyed your brother's oasis, and B, growing your own oasis. Those are the two big parts of the game. And there's so much to do with each part. The game just seems like it keeps opening up new mechanics and new ideas like 5 hours into the game, 10 hours into the game, stuff like that. It's much more expansive than I originally imagined. And getting to play the part that I played during the demo now in the full game, you know, I understood things so much better and I got so much more out of it this time. But yeah, those are the two mechanics, and I'll certainly break them down for you. There's a lot to unpack, but almost all of it is super enjoyable. As I said, the one main objective is getting out there and finding this destructive force that has been destroying, or that destroyed your brother's oasis and has been taking care of all the other ones, leaving you to have the last oasis as far as you know. So you set out there to find out where this thing is and how to stop it. And you initially start on your own, and you go out and explore the desert, and there's a day-night cycle, and at night enemies are more difficult, so you have to be a little more careful. But yeah, you start off on your own, and then as the game goes on, you get characters to join in with you, and that's when you really start to see what the game is about. So when you're out and about exploring and adventuring and fighting enemies, you'll have characters with you that you choose before you leave your own oasis. So you'll put together a party, and you head out and explore. And party members will have different abilities. So one party member can dig, and one party member can like crush big rocks, and one party member can reach levers that are too high for other ones to get. There's all different types, and every time you go throughout the desert to a new location or somewhere you've been, you will certainly see areas that you can't access because you don't have the right character there. You'll see holes in the ground and you'll be like, oh, I wonder what's hiding in there, but you can't dig them up because you don't have somebody on your team who has the ability to shovel. So when you're back at the Oasis after your trip, you can decide if you want to set back out for that same place, but this time bring along a party member who has the ability to dig things up, and then go back out there and see what it is. It could be, you know, a key item for the story, it could be an item that levels you up in some way, it could be something to power up your Oasis, all different kinds of stuff out there. So this happens all the time in the game. There is a ton of content to find. You will never go to a location and be like, well, I've done everything here the first time through. You're always going to see stuff that you need another partner to explore fully. And, you know, every once in a while, maybe you'll have a party that has just the right amount of abilities to get almost everything done, but there's always going to be one or two things that you need to come back for. And it makes it exciting. It makes old environments exciting because you don't know what's waiting beyond that one door you can't access, or up on that platform that you can't reach otherwise. So there's always things to explore, and there's a lot to remember. There is a lot to remember in each dungeon as far as what is where, what you haven't done, and stuff like that. But thankfully, the story gives you reasons to go back and check these places out a few times. So if you go somewhere and you forget that there's something you haven't done, you'll pass by it again and go, oh yeah, I need to bring that person here next time. So you go back out and do that when you have a chance to do so. And it makes the exploration so much more fun. There's just so much to do. Obviously, combat plays into your party members as well, because you'll have party members that, you know, are all different levels, and they level up as you play. But they also have different, like, weapons and abilities, special abilities that they can use. And some weapons slash special abilities slash characters are better against certain enemies. So somebody might be really good at taking out sand enemies because they have the ability to use wind, which weakens the sand monsters and then makes them easier to defeat. Somebody else might be better at taking out a scorpion or a bug enemy because of the weapon type that they have. So you can see these things by little markers that are on the screen when you hit enemies. It shows like a music note to show like this guy is really good at fighting this type of enemy. And it's not like you'll ever come across enemies that you can't tackle with the characters that you have. It just may be more of a challenge. That character might not be able to hit as hard, or they might take more damage from the enemy. So it's important to pay attention to that stuff, and it keeps the battles really interesting, because you are able to switch between the characters on the fly. You just do it through the D-pad. So, you know, you have your main character, quote-unquote, and then you can switch to the other two characters that you're dragging around with you at any time. So they'll be fighting alongside you as you're doing whatever, fighting or exploring or anything. And then if you see a certain enemy type and you're like, oh, I know this other character's better at that, you just hit up on the D-pad and you switch to them and you take them out, and then, you know, you switch to somebody else because you're like, there's a puzzle that I need to solve and I can only do it with this character. So it's really easy, really quick, and really smooth transitions. You just press the button or you press up on the D-pad and you switch between them. So the entire combat scenario feels really engaging and interesting because you're always changing between different types, and it's fun to find out who is best at what, and also, you know, how they move, because some characters are fast and slow, and some characters have a better dodge than others. So you'll find along the way what characters work best, and you'll certainly want to mix things up, and I don't doubt that you'll find a core group of characters that you like to take out with you on your missions where you know you're going to have to fight something really big or tackle a lot of enemies. You'll have, like, your three guys that you're like, alright, these are the ones that can really get the job done, and if I'm in a lot of trouble, I'll be able to take these enemies out without much hassle. And other times you'll put together groups for, like, better for exploration, because you're like, well, most of the time when I go out, I see this thing to do and that thing to do, so I want to bring these two that have those abilities with me to get them done. So it's all about mixing and matching who you have and leveling them up and earning new abilities, and the further you explore out into the desert, the more opportunities you'll find for unique battles and unique environments with all kinds of different puzzles. As far as the exploration part goes, including the battles and the puzzles and the environments, this is Legend of Zelda. This is classic Legend of Zelda, except you have a party now, and the combat is more deep. You know, it's rolling through holes to unlock doors and pushing blocks and hitting buttons to raise sand levels and defeating all the enemies in an area and opening treasure chests and stuff like that. If you like The Legend of Zelda, there's more to Ever Oasis than that, but at least I would say, you know, 1/3, if not more than the game, more of that in the game is Legend of Zelda style. If you've played any classic Legend of Zelda game, you're going to feel very at home here. And I know a lot of people really enjoy those mechanics, and mostly you only get them out of Zelda games. And this may give you those mechanics and may remind you of classic Zelda games, but, you know, the presentation is completely different, and like I said, it's much more varied in terms of the characters you get to pick and choose along the way, the enemies you're facing, your ability for different types of attacks and stuff like that. So it takes classic Legend of Zelda gameplay, obviously an inspiration there, and evolves it, expands upon it, and brings it into new areas that the classic Legend of Zelda franchise hasn't done. So, I mean, I'm a Nintendo fan. I'm a junkie for Legend of Zelda, so anything that feels like Legend of Zelda or has some of those same gameplay ideas, I'm going to be all over, and it's really well done here. Really well implemented, some unique puzzle ideas that I don't want to spoil because that's the fun of them, you getting to them on your own and figuring them out. Nothing, you know, that's going to have you scratching your head for hours on end trying to figure out where to go or what to do. But a lot of organic puzzle solutions and a lot of, you know, things you should be able to tackle if you've played other Zelda games. So it certainly tickled my fancy in that regard, and I just couldn't get enough of that stuff. Now, to be completely honest, there was an aspect of the game I really wasn't looking forward to just because I haven't enjoyed it in other games, and that was the town building aspect of the game, or in here it's the oasis building aspect. You have to build up your oasis, not only because it gives you different access to all sorts of stuff you're going to need on your adventure, but also because it's going to continue the storyline along. There will be certain points during the game where you have to build up your oasis in order to move the story forward. And that involves bringing new people to your oasis. So, how do you get new people to your oasis? Well, you open up shops, I forget what they're called in the game. Blossom something or others. But they're shops. You open up different shops, and depending on the shops that you have in your oasis, more people will come there and check out what you got. So you can't just open up a shop and that's that. You have to open up a shop and talk to the shopkeeper, and they'll tell you like what if they need anything or what's going on in town. And you can also see the shop's stock, so it's your job to replenish that. And I was like, why is it my job? Why can't I don't run the shop? These people should be replenishing, but you know, it's part of the mechanics. So like the fruit shop will need more fruit, and you have to get the fruit that the shop needs while you're out on your adventures. Sometimes you can find it really close to home. Other times you can find it, you know, in a specific cave all the way across the oasis. And thankfully, when you're looking up these things that the shops need, be it fruit or, you know, other materials, you can see specifically what is needed and where you can find it. Your map will show you, or the item screen will show you where you've found this stuff before. So I was never in a situation where I was like, where the hell is this stuff? I'm just supposed to explore endlessly and hope that I find it. I can't remember an instance where that came up. I just know that I would look at the item screen and say, oh, it can be found here and here. In the story, I plan on going to this other place, and I'm going to pass by that place as I go, so I'll stop in and collect the things I need. And then you continue to do that for stores, and the stores level up, and they get new items, and then you'll eventually get special quests from the storekeepers that that let you do certain special things and let you gain access to special things as well. Again, I don't want to spoil stuff, but yeah, leveling up is good for the Oasis in general, because the more shops you have, the more people that come, the bigger the shops get and the more stuff they carry, the more people will be likely to visit and then stay in your town, and that's how you really grow your Oasis. So somebody will come to town, they might be looking for, I don't know, like a scarf, and if you have a shop that sells a scarf, they'll be like, oh, this is great, I like this town, I'm gonna stay here, is that cool? You say, yeah, they stay, and then they're like, oh, I wish I had this kind of shop. You help them open that shop, they sell more stuff, it attracts more people, blah blah blah. You know, it's a cycle over and over and over again. You can see how many people are in your Oasis, and you can also level up the Oasis in general with the water spirit when things are going really well. So you can, she'll be like, oh, we got a lot of people, come see me, and we can bring our Oasis to the next stage. So you keep doing that throughout gameplay, and like I said, it's necessary because there will be certain missions that you can't move forward on until you level up your Oasis. So there's a lot to do there and a lot to keep track of. Plus, the more you level up your Oasis and open up shops, you'll get more health, basically. So the happiness of the town depends on the shops and the stock and stuff like that and how many people are visiting. And at the beginning of each day, there's a meter that shows you that. And when you leave your Oasis to go out adventuring, that happiness adds on to your health, so you get like a health boost based on how well your Oasis is doing. So if your Oasis is doing really crappy, you're not going to have a really good health boost, which can really help out in the desert, because you might happen upon characters or enemies that are super tough and could take you out with 1 or 2 hits, and having that extra boost in your health is really important. So just, they give you so many different ways and so many different reasons to keep your Oasis going. And like I said, it's important for story because you have to, but they give you other reasons to try and, you know, organically make you raise your Oasis, so you never, like, hit a point where the game's like, I need this and you need this at your Oasis if you want to do it, and you're like, now I gotta spend 4 hours growing my Oasis because I didn't do it before. The game does a good job of telling you, you should do this for your Oasis, and let's run through it once, and here's what you get if you do this stuff. So, my one tip is, yeah, don't let your Oasis die down because you need it. You will need it to get through the game. So, as long as you handle it as the game is teaching you, you should be completely fine. And then plus, that just gets you so many different bonuses as you're going along, such as items for your character, be they weapons or health power-ups or other buffs and stuff like that, plus the happiness meter that I told you about. So plenty of reasons to do it. Don't wait on it because it's important. The game does a really good job with the ebb and flow of gameplay. You go out into the desert, you explore, you do puzzles, you fight enemies, you come back to your Oasis and you take care of the town and you restock stores and you go back to your house where you can upgrade some of the items that you have or create new ones as well. And then you wake up the next day and you see what the happiness meter is at and you're like, okay, I know this shop needs this, that, and the other thing. By the end of today, they'll want to be restocked. So you go out on your next adventure and you explore, or you take on whatever story mission you're on, or perhaps a side mission for somebody in the town. So it's a good back and forth. It's like, you know, action adventure and then management slash like kind of like Animal Crossing a little bit. And that's how day in, day out goes, and it's really addictive. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to be into like the resource management or the town management kind of stuff. But once I got into it, like that, I found that just as addictive as the other part. I was like, oh, I got to make sure when I wake up the next day, I get everybody stocked, and I'll see what everybody wants, and then I know that one store is going to want to send me on a special mission, and that'll give me access to some really cool stuff. And then you go out on your adventure and you do it. It's I don't know, it's super addictive. It's it's really enticing. It kept me going back to it over and over again, and it got me into one of those cycles where I was like, I'll play one more in-game day, just one more, and then I'd finish that day, and I'm like, I'll do one more story mission. I never wanted to stop, and when I play portable games, the most I play them is like, I don't know, like 2 hours at a chunk at most. I never play more than that. I don't often play more than that on consoles either. But with this game, I seriously had multiple sessions where I played for 5 hours at a time. It'd be like 2 in the morning, I finished up some work, I would play, and then I'd look at the clock and I'd be like, oh my god, it's 7 in the morning! Where did the time go? I couldn't believe it. I swear to God, when I was playing one time, it was 3 in the morning. I started playing, I looked at the clock, which felt like 20 minutes later, and it was 4:30 in the morning. I was like, I gotta be looking at the time wrong. I couldn't believe that much time went by. And I mean, that's a sign of a great game. Time just flies because you're having fun. Like, it's so engaging and interesting and fun and just really well done. It's a blast, an absolute blast. And I didn't even touch on the presentation yet. This is one of the prettiest 3DS games I've ever seen. It's really nice looking, and the character designs are so colorful and unique, and even like the outfits that they wear, which you can change stuff on. Just everything, the whole design of it is really gorgeous. It's not like a style or an approach you see in many games. It's just absolutely beautiful. I was so impressed with how it looked. It's really a top-notch visual experience. Does a good job of showing like what this type of game can look like on the 3DS. Obviously, it's not realistic looking, but it certainly pushes a unique art style. Vivid and just feels alive. It's a gorgeous game. I really liked it. And even more than that, the soundtrack blew me away on such a grand level. This is really ridiculously high quality music. I don't know if they use real instruments or not, but it's in certain sections it's good enough to fool me. These are some amazing compositions, like the orchestrations that they use and the melodies for like going out in the Oasis, and especially when you're battling, it just it fits the moment so well. And there's so many tunes that are really, really good stuff. Like, it feels like a movie soundtrack to me. Obviously, there's some tunes in there that fall more in line with video game stuff. So, like when you're in a dungeon, the dungeon music is excellent, but it's got, you know, more of a looping traditional video game feel to it because you're going to hear it a lot. But like battle music and town music and stuff like that, it feels like a movie. It feels really high caliber. I was so shocked to hear it. Not that I was expecting something bad, but it was so far above and beyond what I hear in other 3DS games. So Really, from visual and music standpoint, they went overboard. It's absolutely phenomenal. There's so much more to Ever Oasis, I don't want to ruin it for you. I'm scratching the surface, like, there's a ton to do. This game you can pour tens of hours into. I don't know, maybe you could pour hundreds of hours into it, depending on what you're trying to collect and how much of a completionist you are. But yeah, this is a massive game, way bigger than I expected, and from the bottom to the top, it is high quality. It is expertly crafted. I could certainly see some people being turned off by the town or the Oasis management aspect of the game, because like I said, I wasn't looking forward to it when I went into it, but the game changed my mind on it. Maybe it won't change minds of other people, but yeah, that's the one sticking point I could see, and like I said, for me, it turned out to be a positive. So just know that you're getting into that before you pick up this game. But the other half of it, the battle and the adventuring and the puzzling and the all of that stuff, that's Legend of Zelda, without a doubt. Huge inspiration. So if you like that, if you like Legend of Zelda style stuff, and you're gonna love this. I don't want people to ignore this game. I really feel like people don't know it exists, don't know it's coming out, or just don't care about it. Please don't make that mistake. I'm honestly begging you, do not make that mistake. This is one of the best games on 3DS, hands down. I hope it turns into a franchise. It deserves to get a console entry. I love it. I absolutely love the game, and I hope you do too. So hopefully my passion and praise for the title has come through in this video review. And if you do end up picking it up and you trust me on the review and you're going to give it a shot, leave me a comment, send me a tweet. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if you're as impressed as I have been. So hopefully you enjoy it. I know I really did, and hopefully you got what you needed out of this review. Hey guys, RMC here from Go Nintendo. If you like what you saw in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe? We'd love to have you. If you want to see what else we're up to, you can check out GoNintendo.com for 24-hour Nintendo news. You can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/GoNintendo. You can check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/GoNintendoTweet. And we're even over on Instagram at instagram.com/GoNintendo. I put all the links in the description just to make it easier for you guys to follow. Thanks a lot!